Someone left something on your desk. There is no note. You don't know who left it or why, or what you're supposed to do with this information. And yet, without any data to support this conclusion, you feel grateful. More grateful actually than if there had been a note. More grateful than if the person handed it to you directly and said, "Here, I got you this, I was thinking of you." The note would have ruined it somehow. The explanation would have cost them something. You can feel this. You cannot explain it. That's the part worth looking at. The conventional answer is that anonymous gifts feel pure. No strings attached. The giver wanted nothing back. No credit, no gratitude, no social ledger entry. We have a word for this. Altruism. We treat it as the gold standard of generosity, the version of giving that has no ulterior motive hiding underneath. This is the answer most people reach for, and it is not wrong exactly. It is just not the whole thing. Here is a question worth sitting with. If pure altruism is the goal, if what we value is giving with no expectation of return, then why does the anonymous gift still make you feel an obligation? You don't know who gave it. You cannot repay them. You cannot even thank them. And yet the debt is there, quietly, in the room with you. The absence of a note doesn't remove the transaction. It just removes your ability to close it. Anthropologists have a name for what gift-giving actually is when you strip the sentiment away. Marcel Mauss called it the gift economy, and he described it in 1925 in terms that have not been meaningfully improved upon since. The gift, Mauss argued, is never free. It creates an obligation in the recipient to give back, not immediately, not obviously, but structurally. The gift is a claim. It says, "I have the surplus to give you this. I have chosen to give it to you. Now you are in my debt, and the debt is one you cannot discharge without acknowledging my generosity, which is itself an act of social submission." This is not cynicism. This is the mechanism. The potlatch ceremonies of Pacific Northwest tribes made it explicit. Chiefs destroyed and gave away enormous wealth not out of kindness but to demonstrate power. The gift was the power. To refuse it, or to match it, was an act of war. The note, in this framework, is interesting. The note explains the gift. It provides context, motivation, a reason. And reasons are a form of apology. The gift with a note says, "I gave you this because." The gift without a note says, "I gave you this." The first is a social exchange. The second is a fact about the world that you now have to live inside. There is research on what's sometimes called the motive purity effect. When people perceive a giver's motivation as purely benevolent, when there is no visible self-interest, no explanation, no traceable reason, they rate the gift as more generous and the giver as more trustworthy. This holds across cultures. It holds for charitable donations, for favors, for kindness between strangers. The moment you explain why you did something good, people discount it. Slightly, quietly, almost without noticing. The explanation contaminates the act. This is a strange thing for a species to believe. We are in other contexts relentlessly interested in motivation. We want to know why people do things. We build entire legal systems around the question of intent. And yet when the action is generous, the revealed motivation makes it smaller. A donation made publicly is worth less, morally, than the same donation made anonymously. Even if the public donation inspired others to give. Even if it accomplished more good in the world. We have decided, across every culture we have record of, that the goodness of the act lives in the invisibility of the decision to do it. And the note makes the decision visible. The note is the problem. What the note does, what any explanation does, is invite the recipient into the giver's interior. It says, "Here is what I was thinking. Here is the moment I decided. Here is, by implication, that there was a moment. That the gift was chosen. Weighed. Considered. And choice, it turns out, is the wrong thing to reveal. Because if you chose to give, you could have chosen not to. And now we're both thinking about that. Here's what this actually implies, stated plainly. We do not want generosity to be a decision. We want it to be a condition. We want the gift to have been inevitable, to have flowed from the giver toward us, with the same quality of agency as water moving down. Explanation implies deliberation. Deliberation implies alternatives. And we do not want to think about the alternatives. And the anonymous gift, the unexplained act of kindness, the favor done without comment, these feel more generous because they allow us to imagine a giver who could not have done otherwise. Someone for whom giving was not a choice but a reflex, a nature, a fact. This is not a small thing to want from another person. We are essentially asking them to perform selflessness so completely that it erases itself. To give in a way that produces no evidence of having given. To be generous in the way a river is generous, not because it decided to flow toward you, but because that is simply what it does. And the reason we want this, the reason this particular fantasy is culturally universal, is probably that it's the only version of generosity that cannot be taken back. A gift with a note can be explained. An explanation can be revised. The reason can turn out to have been something else. But a gift with no note, no context, no visible motive, that gift exists outside the giver's intentions entirely. It has no origin story you can contaminate. It just is. It sits on your desk. It waits. Someone left something on your desk. There is no note. You still don't know who. You've thought about it more than you expected to. More, probably, than you would have thought about a gift that came with a full explanation, and a signed card, and a hug, and a reason. The reason would have ended it. The mystery keeps it open, keeps the dead alive, keeps the giver, whoever they are, present in the room in a way that a thanked and discharged gift never could. This is, depending on your disposition, either a very beautiful thing about human beings or a mildly alarming one. The gift economy has been running for a long time. Longer than writing. Longer than cities. The note is a very recent invention. We are still deciding, it seems, what it costs.